Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 7 start and sit video for the wide receiver position, the position everybody absolutely loves, and of course, probably has the toughest time trying to figure out who to put in your wide receiver 1 and 2 slot, and possibly a flex spot depending on what happens. Again, this is always going to be full PPR and half PPR. If it is a standard league, of course, hit us in the comments down below. So these are your obvious starts that I believe should be, no matter what the situation is or the matchup, these wide receivers should be starting for you this week. I like their matchups. I like what's going to happen. I like the targets they're going to receive. I like these guys a lot this week. Now, the first wide receiver I believe is going to be a good start. It's going to be Jalen Waddle. Going against the Steelers. Steelers have allowed 44.2 points to receivers, over 210 receiving yards as well. And on top of that, they allow a touchdown per game to the wide receiver. Now, prior to Tua's injury, Waddle averaged 24 points a game. While Tua was out, he averaged only 9 points a game. So it's a big jump, obviously, for Waddle to have Tua back this weekend. Now, a lot of people, obviously, the reason why I put him as a start instead of an obvious like Tyreek, Waddle did take the biggest hit as far as performance goes when Tua took, the sideline with everything going on. Now, hopefully Tua does truly come out healthy, doesn't have any issues, doesn't regress or anything. But I do believe this is a really good matchup for both Tua and Waddle to come back to against the Steelers defense that realistically has just been very, very porous, has allowed a lot of receiving yards, passing yards. So I like this matchup a lot. Another receiver I'll have as a good start this week is DeAndre Hopkins. Look, everyone has been waiting for him to come back due to his 6-week suspension. It's going against the Saints on Thursday night, so make sure you guys obviously pay attention to that. Saints allowed 39.8 points to the receiver and 188 yards as well. Losing Hollywood Brown does hurt, but having Hopkins now back, and he will receive those targets that Hollywood Brown was receiving, I like this matchup a lot. And the last three wide receivers Saints faced averaged 21 points in fantasy. So he should be able to perform very similarly, whether it be 18 to 22 points, somewhere in that range in his first game back. I know he's ready. He's hungry. There's a lot of great hype videos out there. This is a great game back for Hopkins. So all of you guys who waited 6 weeks and kind of held him there, this is your time. This is your time to shine. Another receiver I like this week is going to be Chris Godwin against the Panthers. I love this matchup for him. They allow 37 points to receivers. Carolina does do a great job covering the number 1 receiver in Mike Evans, for example. Godwin has a chance to perform over 15 points, I think, in this matchup just because he's seeing the targets. He's seen 9 targets on average since he's come back from his injury. And this is going to be a game that Panthers defense has slowly gotten a little bit worse, and they're going to play pass heavy. I even if they are up, I still believe Tom Brady is still going to throw 40 to 50 passes a game. That's just what he does. So I do like Godwin a lot this week. I see him getting 10 targets, turning 7 or 8 of them into receptions, and then of course about 80 to 90 yards, if not more. So I like his matchup this week. Now, a wide receiver I don't like this week is Christian Kirk. Man, has he just fallen off. Going against the Giants too. Giants are the best against the wide receiver, only allowing 23.5 points. Holding them to only 119 receiving yards as a group. Kirk has struggled and only seen about an average of 5 targets the last 3 games, which is not going to do it for you. With the lack of targets, Trevor Lawrence has not looked amazing in these games. He's done okay, but he's not looked amazing. And you're the wide receiver 1 who is seeing less targets than some of your running backs. Does concern me a lot. So I'm not putting Christian Kirk in this matchup at all. Another receiver I'm not putting in is going to be Jacoby Myers against the Bears. Bears actually do a great job stopping their opponent's receivers and their best receiver, and that is Jacoby Myers. Only Justin Jefferson has scored a large amount on the Bears. Most receivers are held to 9 points or less. So if you really think about it, the Bears have done a really phenomenal job defensively. Myers is a target-needing type of receiver. He's got to get those targets to be effective. He's not the big play guy. He's not necessarily the red zone guy. He's got to be fed plenty of targets to be effective in fantasy, and I just don't see that happening against Chicago. Another receiver I'm sitting this week is going to be Terry McLaurin. Now, I love the fact that he's getting Heineke back. I really do believe that's going to help McLaurin out for the rest of the season. A lot of people have asked about him. I do like that. But the Packers are the 7th best against wide receivers. They're holding to 27.9 points combined and under 130 receiving yards. On top of that, being that this is Heineke's first game back, there's going to be some rust. There's going to be some issues there. So I don't think it's going to necessarily click this particular game. Plus, you got Jair Alexander covering McLaurin most of this game. So this is going to be a really tough matchup for him. So I'm sitting him this week. Now, the first receiver I believe is going to be a good sleeper this week is going to be Michael Gallup. And you see a lot of my videos. I have Dak. I had Pollard. I have Gallup. A lot of it has to do with the fact that the matchup against the Lions is a great one. And on top of that, Dak being back is great for everybody. Not only is it only going to help Lamb, but Michael Gallup is going to benefit the most out of this matchup. He's seen a ton of air yards the last few games since he's been back, and now you got Dak back. That connection between him and Gallup is there. They've always had that great connection, and the fact that you're going against the receiving Lions team that's allowing 37.8 points and 180 receiving yards, this is a great matchup for that to kind of reconnect and get back to the normal. Another receiver I like this week is going to be Keenan Allen. He is expected to play this week. The first time. Everyone's been waiting for him. I have him on a few of my leagues. He's expected to be back this week. Keenan Allen versus Seahawks. First game back, I do expect targets his way. I think he is definitely the truer number one, the better receiver than Mike Williams. Mike Williams has struggled, and the Seahawks do a pretty good job at holding receivers to 27.9 points. But I like his size, I like his red zone threat, and I like the fact that I do see Justin Herbert really forcing the ball to him and kind of get him going early to get his confidence up and then really kind of finish off the rest of the game. So I do like Keenan Allen as a good sleeper. So those are my week 7 start and sits for the wide receiver position. If you guys have not already, make sure you check out our running back and quarterback start and sits. Obviously, we'll be dropping our tight end one as well. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like button, that notification bell is on. That way you guys are going to be notified every time we drop a video just like this. Again, check out our other start and sit videos. If you guys have questions, hit us up in the comments. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you guys like it, and I'll check you out next time.